Hi, I just want to give you a rundown of what happened at the just concluded first section of the Ninth Synod of the Anglican Diocese of Ideato. The Synod was held on 4th to 7th of May 2023. The Synod started on Thursday with the arrival of the delegates and registration of delegates, and also the arrival of the Bishop and his wife to the venue of the Synod, that is St. Peter's Anglican Church, Akokwa. The Boys and Girls Brigade were present, neatly dressed in their uniforms, and they mounted a guard of honor for our Lord Bishop. After that, the Bishop went into the church to pray. After the prayer, he addressed the Synod delegates and requested that they join him to courtesy visit to the palace of the Eze of Umuezaga Akokwa Autonomous Community. They spent few hours at the King's Palace as they received a warm welcome from the King and his cabinet members. They returned to the church for the opening service, which began at 3:30 p.m. with the Bishop officiating, and he preached as well. The service was a Holy Communion service. The service ended with a benediction by the Bishop. The delegates went out for a welcome event organized by the host community, after which they all dispersed to their various places of accommodation. The Friday morning of the Synod began with a Matin service. The cantor was Venerable Ben Opera, and the Synod guest preacher, Professor Duru Adiboye, preached. After the service, the delegates went out for breakfast. They regrouped at 9:35 a.m. for roll call, after which the election of officers took place. The Venerable Eliezer MC Okereke was elected Clerical Synod Secretary, and Venerable John Ibauchi as Assistant Clerical Synod Secretary. Bozoma Ochoma was elected Lay Synod Secretary, and the Japhet Ezocha was elected as Assistant Lay Synod Secretary. The Reverend Dr. Clinton Okorie was elected as the PRO of the Diocese. The delegates went out for committees, meetings, and reports. While that was going on, the youth of Ideato had what the Bishop called Ideato Youths in Synod, which was first introduced in this Synod. The youths held praise and prayer sections, and the Synod guest preacher, Professor Duru Adiboye, ministered to the teeming population of Ideato youths. The Bishop prayed for them. They elected their Chancellor and Assistant Chancellor, Secretary and Assistant Secretary, PRO and Assistant PRO. The Synod delegates returned at 2:40 p.m. for plenary presentation of group's reports. This was followed by an evening song that was officiated by the Reverend Canon John Esiobo, Venerable Stanley Ndubisi, and Reverend Dan Etiaba. The delegates dismissed for the day and they all went out for dinner. Saturday, 6th of May, began with a Holy Communion service with Venerable Kelechi Chimera as a celebrant, and Professor Duru Adiboye as a preacher. After the service, the delegates went out for breakfast. They returned at 10 a.m. for the presentation of the Bishop's charge. The Synod witnessed the presence of the Archbishop of Owerri Ecclesiastical Province, His Grace Most Reverend David Onoha, who had once served at the venue of the Synod as a deacon and a priest. We also witnessed the presence of other bishops within and across the state. The presence of the Governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, who was duly represented. Bishop Y, presenting his address, preferred the Reverend Chibuzo Igbo, the Cathedral Administrator, to the position of an Archdeacon. That was the only preferment that was done in this year's Synod. The Bishop's charge was greatly appreciated by the host community and the indigenous workers of the host community, the Governor, and the great sons and daughters of the Diocese, as well as the Archdeaconries in the Diocese. The delegates after that went for a lunch break and returned for other Synod matters and business section. And the Synod thereafter dismissed for the day. On Sunday morning, the Synod resumed with a Holy Communion service that was celebrated by Venerable Barrister Henry Edoziem. At 10 a.m., the Synod gathered again for the Thanksgiving service. Other members of the diocese joined from their various churches. It was a great occasion as the Bishop presided over the Synod. Professor Duru Adiboye also preached in the service. The Bishop commissioned the Operation 111, after which the Archdeaconries came for their Synod Thanksgiving. The host Archdeaconry community was the last in the queue, and we witnessed a lot of dancing steps and colorful uniforms. The Bishop and his family also came for Thanksgiving, and the Bishop called for the next year's host, that is the Synod Archdeaconry, to come forward to receive the torch to carry on. The benediction was said by the Bishop, and we came to the end of the first section of the Ninth Synod. Thank you for your time, and see you at the second section of the Ninth Synod of the Anglican Diocese of Ideato in Osina, Archdeaconry. Bye.